All right, so you're here because you want to farm Dragonstones and you want to learn how to farm Dragonstones in an efficient manner. Well, I have good news for you because you're in the right place. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how you can farm the most amount of Dragonstones possible with your account, whether you be at early game, whether you be at end game, or you be in if you're in between one of those sort of phases at the moment. So with all this being said, keep in mind that not every method of farming these stones is going to be available the second you open up the game, as you're going to have to do a couple things first and build up your account a little bit with time in order to do literally every single one of these things. But we are going to be going over some methods that are easier, and we are going to be going over some methods that are a little bit more difficult. So if you find yourself enjoying today's guide, don't forget to leave a like on today's video and subscribe for more informative Dokkan videos just like this. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with an all in all, probably the easiest and most streamlined way to get stones in the game, and that is the quest mode. So you guys knew this was coming if you've been playing for a bit. You can see we have over 33 areas at this point, and I will be showing you in total, if we do one of these bad boys, we have 744 total stones that we can obtain from doing quest, because we have 33 areas and then multiple stages within each area that vary from 1 difficulty to 2 difficulties to 3 difficulties, right? So what we did was I looked at all of the different stages with the varying difficulties, and then looked at the total amount of stones, and if my math is correct, and I'm 99% sure it is, we're over 700 stones. So right now we're looking at 744. Now, what makes this easy is if you farm up the free-to-play Ginyu team or the free-to-play Team Bardock, you are going to be able to clear out every single one of these stages fairly easily on the hardest difficulty. So you'd start here, and what you would want to do is play it on the hardest difficulty, because the way that they have it formatted now is if you press this right here, and then you play this event, it's going to give you, on Z hard, it's going to give you credit for clearing hard and normal at the same time. So that is what you'd want to do. You can see right here, I was using the free-to-play Ginyu Force team, like I mentioned, and you'll get a friend Ginyu most of the time that is a 200% leader. So you're going to be getting additional stats to make your team even better. So that is what I recommend that you do. You do quest mode with whatever your best team is at the time, and that is going to be far and away the easiest way to get Dragonstones within the game. So let's go ahead and move on to method number 2, and this one is going to be a little bit tricky, but honestly, this is where far and away the most stones in bulk are. But keep in mind, you're not going to be able to do all of these at once and get every single stone from them. So let's go ahead and hop over to that. Okay, so we're over here at Extreme Z Battles. Now, Extreme Z Battles, there are a lot of these, right? And each one of these is giving us at least 30 stones, and there are some special cases where there's like a special one, like if we go right here, this one, if you clear to 999, it gives you 300. So the math on this one was a little bit convoluted, but the math that I was able to come up with was there was over 130 of these Extreme Z Battles, and then included that, you're going to be getting 30 stones per Extreme Z Battle. So if you do the math, that's over 390. And then with some of these missions where you get for clearing a certain number, or Extreme Z Awakening a certain amount of characters, or clearing it under a certain amount of time, we're going to be over 4,000 stones from Extreme Z Battles alone. Now, why do I say you can't do these all right away, right? Because most of the time, what you're going to need is a category that has a specific weakness for that Extreme Z battle. So for an example, this Broly one, this Broly Easy Extreme Z battle is what's it called? You have additional damage reduction as well as stuff like that against units that are not on the Movie Heroes category. So what you're going to need to do is run a Tech Movie Heroes category if you want to go super far in this, and you can see that's what we are doing right here based on the boost, and you might not have a Movie Heroes team that is decked out and ready to go to beat that. So what I recommend you guys do is you take the best team that you have, whatever it may be, and you clear these as far as you can go until you cannot win anymore, and that is going to be a certain amount of stones. But if you farm all of these Extreme Z Battles up and you get to level 30 and beyond, you're going to be able to get over 4,000 stones from these right here. So keep in mind, like I said, this is not going to be like free and easy 4,000 stones, but if your account is built up over time and you're able to start clearing more of these as you go, in total, you're going to be able to get over 4,000 stones. So in Extreme Z Battle, it's going to go from 1 to 30, and it's going to get more difficult. What I'd recommend you do is you hit this info button right here, and it's going to tell you the category that the specific Extreme Z Battle is weak to, or you can look it up on the Dokkan Wiki or Dokkan Info, and you can figure out what category you need to beat it, and then what you would want to do is build the best team possible that you have and stuff like that. So once you do that, you need to get to stage 30. You're going to be getting 1 stone per stage, unless it is an LR EZA in specific. So if we go to the Portal of Memories, I will be showing you this, and we go over here, and this is like an example. This is an LR EZA. What you're going to be doing is getting this to stage 10, and you're getting 10 or 3 stones per run. So what you'd be doing in specific for LR EZAs is you want to bring characters with the Link legendary power, which essentially just means they're an LR, right? That's all that means. And that is how you do damage in that one. So that's how you do Extreme Z battles. Again, this one is not going to be free and easy, but this is going to be a source of a ton of Dragon Stones, right? So keep that in mind as you are going, that Extreme Z battles are going to be your best well for stones, but it's also going to be a bit of a time crunch to be able to beat those. So Extreme Z battles are one of the better methods for stones, and that is where over half of these ones in this specific video will be at. Let's go ahead and move on to the next set of stones. Alright, so the next one we're going to be looking at is Super Battle Road. This is what it looks like. You have Super Saiyan 3 Goku on the front, you got this funky logo right here, and then you're going to load this up and you're going to be getting 5 stages per completion. So what is Super Battle Road? You might not know at this point, and I think I'll be doing a guide on how to beat these stages sooner rather than later. Like, it's like a beginner's guide to Super Battle Road. But essentially what this is you are limited to using units in a certain category, and you're going to put them to the test in a difficult fight. Now, the beauty of Super Battle Road is, if we just load this up, you have the ability to use 4 items. So in total, you're going to be able to use 8 because you get 2 uses per item. So what you want to do is bring like damage reduction items and stuff like that, and you'd be able to go through these easily. And what you'll, well, maybe not easily, but some of these categories will be easier than others, and you're going to be getting 5 stages per completion, or 5 stones per completion on the stage. So right now we're up to 77 over on global, or on JP, so it's going to be 385, but on global there's only 75, so it is 375, and we are counting for the global version. So that is what you guys are going to be focused. I'm sure most of you are focused on the global version, so that is the one that we are going to be looking at. And then the next one, just kind of parallel to Super Battle Road, if we do one of these right here, we have Extreme Super Battle Road. So with Extreme Super Battle Road, we have 350. Again, it's going to be a little bit different with JP, because JP is a couple stages ahead. So you can see here we have an extra 28, but right now we are at 350 because we're at 50 stages over on the global, if I read it right, and that way we are going to be getting 7 per, so that is going to be 350 stones right there. So keep in mind that this is going to be some of the more, these are the more difficult stones to obtain throughout the game, and we're just getting these out of the way so we can kind of move on to the easier stuff moving forward. So Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, and Extreme Z battles, you guys can see, are well over like 57 or 4,700 stones, or like 4,800, right in that range. Like, this is going to be a lot of the free-to-play stones that you can farm within the game, but all in all, it's going to be worth your time once you get it all done, because you can see this is enough stones to like essentially rainbow almost any unit that you want, right? So let's go ahead and move on to the next one. And now that we've gotten all the hard stuff out of the way, let's start moving on to some of the easier things that everyone's going to be able to do, in my opinion. All right, so the next method that we are going to be looking at is just leveling up your account, right? And from the missions that you get from leveling up, you have missions in the game that account from level 1 all the way up to level 500. And the best way to get from level 1 to level 500 in a relatively fast manner, no matter what, it's going to be a grind, is Area 33, Stage 1. You're going to be getting a decent bit of XP from this one. I forget the exact number of XP that you get off the top of my head, but I'm pulling it up as we speak. But we'll go ahead and do a run really quickly. You can see I'm rank 999, so you're not going to see the exact number that we get right here, but I'm just saying that because I'm pulling it up right now. Area 33, Stage 1 gives 35,800. So on times 4 XP, you're going to be looking at, what is that, over like 144,000, a little bit under that. Per run, so that is going to be really good, at least in terms of your stamina. So it's going to be a decent bit, right? And just for one fight, this is the best stage to rank up with, so you want to use this one in order to get from rank 1 to rank 500, and you'll already have a decent bit of your rank chunked out just from doing quests, especially when it is on times 4 XP. And you can see right there, just for fun, we also got 97 incredible gems just from that specific run, so that's pretty chill as well. So what you'll be doing is farming incredible gems at the same time as you are farming your level, as well as farming Zenny and all that fun stuff. But getting from 1 to 500, I'd recommend that you do Area 33, Stage 1, and that is going to help you a decent bit with your level up missions. Let's move on to the next form of stone farming. Okay, so the next one we have here is what we like to call Boss Rush. Now, with Boss Rush, this one is super easy. This is essentially just a bunch of Dokkan events back to back to back in a certain format, and we are up to 19 of these on JP, and I believe we have 18 over on global. So I did the math for the global stones, and we are currently at 630 stones from doing these. And the beauty of the Super Boss Rush format, as you can see, we're going to be getting stones for all of these. You want to make sure you clear them on all the available difficulties. I believe after Boss Rush 2, it is just on Super 3. So you want to clear these out as quick as possible. And the beauty of this one is this is not like Super Battle Road or an Extreme Z battle. As long as you have a team, like especially the free-to-play Ginyu Force team, you're going to be able to beat all of these, and especially if you bring like healing items or something like that, I can almost all but guarantee you're going to be able to beat all of these. It's just going to take a little bit of time, right? All of these are going to be a time sink because you have to clear out multiple Dokkan events in one run, And that is where it kind of gets tricky, but you'll be able to proc your Dokkan attacks and all that fun stuff. But you can see over 600 stones from Boss Rush. This is a super easy one and one of the most beginner-friendly ways to get a lot of stones in a quick amount of time. So if you have not done this already, make sure you go do your super boss rushes, as this is going to help you get a ton of stones, as you can see right here. So with that being said, let's move on to the next one, and we can just talk about these ones all in succession. We don't even need to cut for these. These are going to be what are known as the Fighting Legend events. So there are 3 of these currently. There's the Fighting Legend Goku, there's the Fighting Legend GT Goku, and then the Fighting Legend Vegeta. Now, all 3 of these are going to have separate procs for missions, so I'm going to just drag this down and show you all 3 at once. The most profitable one is the Goku event, which, funny enough, is the easiest one because it is the oldest. And then the GT Goku event is a little bit harder than the Goku event, and then the Vegeta event is the hardest of the 3. But where these are coming from the missions, if we click on this right here, you can see we have missions right here, and you're only seeing tickets, but most of these right here, when you open them up, also come with 5 stones. So why you're asking, how do I do this? Well, between each mission, there's going to be beating all of the phases, and then you're going to have to beat them with certain categories. So you're going to want to look into whatever mission that it might be. It could be Otherworld Warriors. It could be some type of category that you would have to look up, right? I don't want to go over every category because this would make this video too long, but just keep that in mind, that what you're going to essentially have to do is clear these events multiple times using different category teams. And if you do clear out all 3 of these, you're going to be getting 124 from the Vegeta event. You're going to be getting 150 from this one. So that's what, 274 right there. And then 129, so that is like what, 403 I think total, if my math is right on that. So 400 stones just from doing all of the missions right here. But again, this is going to be one that takes a decent bit of time, as you also need to build up your account. Because if you guys, I'm sure most of you know, if you've been playing Dokkan at this point, that that's just how it works, right? You're not going to be able to farm up 8,000 stones in one day. I can't tell you that with a straight face. But you can see here, this is going to be one of the huge wells of stones between these 3. There's 400 right here just from doing these with certain missions, and these do update, not frequently, but do update throughout the year. So you're going to be these are going to be ongoing, right? Almost all of these right here, except for like the rank up missions, are really like the only form of stones that aren't getting updated as the year goes on. So whatever number that we have right here, if you're watching this video a year from now, there's going to be more stones that we can get from almost all of these, except for the rank up missions if they don't touch them. So keep that in mind. Let's move on to the next one, which is kind of a similar thing to what we've been talking about, and that is Infinite Dragon Ball History. Now, Infinite Dragon Ball History is basically the same thing, if we could find it. There are so many missions. If I went through individually all of these, there's over 300 missions in here, but in turn, there's going to be a lot of stones. So if we show you how many stones we have, it is over 700 from these, because there are 29 stages. They're going to have individual category missions. Usually there's just 2 category missions per stage, so you're not going to need as many teams as you will for the Goku and Vegeta event. But if you can see here, we have over 300 missions, and I'm just scrolling, and you can see how many stones are in here, right? Just from looking. This is where a lot of your Dragon Stones are going to be at. So if you know a new Infinite Dragon Ball History stage is coming out, you can expect a little over 20 stones per drop. And the beauty of this, like I said with the GT Goku event and all that fun stuff, is we're going to be getting updates to this as the years go on. So keep that in mind, that Infinite Dragon Ball History is also going to be a very good form of stones, but keep in mind that you're going to be getting extra stones just from doing the category missions, which you're not going to be able to do all at once, I'm sure, but you will be able to get a ton, hundreds of stones just from clearing out the Infinite Dragon Ball History for the first time. So keep that in mind as we go. And then the last method that I'm going to show you as a big well of stones, before we talk about all the little things, are going to be down here. And this last one is going to be just the Dokkan events in general, right? When you look in here, like all of these events right here are going to have a certain amount of stages, right? So it's going to be 2 stones per whatever level that we have, right? And then there are some special occasions at the bottom where this game was kind of new, where there were like 3 difficulties, right? Like, so if we go to the very, very bottom, what's an example, right? I think the Super Saiyan 3 Goku event actually has what I'm looking for. No, not that one. I know for a fact there's like a Super Saiyan 3 one. This Broly one's actually a better example. You can see the first time we had this, it was 3 stones because there were 3 separate difficulties. So Dokkan events are also going to be giving us a lot of stones. And if I go down here, we're at 305 just from Dokkan events. From the math that I did, I tried to count up every stone that you could get. So that's 300 right there. Now, that is the last amount of stones that I put a number to. So if we do all the math and all that fun stuff, and I'm going to show you the big number, it's the big reveal. Drum roll, please. Boom. We are over 7,805 stones, roughly just from this alone, from the numbers that you see on your screen right now. So almost 8,000 free-to-play stones can be obtained within Dokkan. But the beauty of it is, there's more, right? I'm just showing you all of like the bulk stones that are like, 100 plus from a specific thing, right? Keep in mind, there are going to be more, right? If we scroll through the game, and there's basically stones attached to almost everything that I'm about to show, right? And you just have to keep in mind that it is a lot of work to do all of this, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We have stuff like burst mode that comes out in limited quantities. And if we scroll up, we have more challenge events like the God event. We have the Goku event, the GT Goku event, the Vegeta event, Boss Rush, Extreme Z areas. We have a ton of these now. There's stones attached to these. We have Prime battles. There's stones and LRs attached to those. We have collection of epic battles. We have Super Battle Road, ESPR. We have all of the different red zones that have come out. The Cell Max event, more red zones. We have collection of epic battles. I think we showed that. We have Divine Wrath and Mortal Will, the Shadow Dragon event, the 9th anniversary battle, all types of other things that there are going to be stones that are obtainable from that I can't go over in this video because this video would be 3 hours, right? But then we also have clearing these for the first time. You're going to be getting stones from the growth events that are in the game. Pan's Secret Adventure, the Ginyu Force, and the Team Bardock revamp that's coming that I talked about in my previous video. The Whis event, Bulma's event, the Hercule Big Buck statue, all of this stuff. And then we also have the story tab that has the hero extermination plan, all this other stuff. Like all these different events have stones tied to them, right? So there's just so many stones that you can get throughout this game just from being free to play. But you just have to keep in mind that it is going to be a lot of work. You know, all this stuff is done, but I've been playing the game for years, so it is a little bit different. And then you go in the Portal of Memories, and these events are going to be returning on a recurring cycle, depending on the campaign that we are in. So if you do the stuff with these, there's story events that are tied to these, and there's going to be more stones to farm from all of these. There's going to be missions that give you stones. There's Super Strike EZAs that give you stones. There's a lot. There's well over 8,000. I'd say probably closer to 9,000 free-to-play stones that you can get. There's the story events, where there's going to be reruns of the story events, essentially in a different form. There's 3 for Dragon Ball, and then there's a bunch more, and there's more individual events in all these tabs. So one thing that I forgot to mention as I was recording this initially is one last thing that we need to talk about for stones that we can get. When I was mentioning more, there's also going to be things like login missions, login bonuses, and other stuff like that that is going to be providing us with stones as well. So one thing that we really need to be paying attention to when we log in is the bonuses that we get, and then also the daily missions that we can do every day. Right, you're going to be able to, depending on the time of the day or depending on the day of the week, you know, on the weekend you get more, but if you play every day, get your dailies and stuff like that, you're also going to be getting a ton of stones. And then for like every 100 days that you log in, you're going to be getting 10 stones and stuff like that. You're going to be getting big bonuses for the amount of days that you log in. So you need to keep that in mind as you are playing. But one other thing, and this isn't a way you can farm, but another bonus amount of stones that we get during a major celebration is we just get a lot of hype stuff like what's the word? We get stuff like top grossing. When a banner is selling well, that is something that's going to happen, right? You're going to be able to get more stones from, like, when a banner sells well and reaches first place on the App Store in certain regions, we're going to be getting top grossing stones. So top grossing stones, if it is depending on the version that you play, for global, if it's like a couple regions, you'll get 7 per region, so it'll be 7, 14, 21, depending on the regions, etc., etc. And then if it's like a mass top grossing or something, you might get something like 100 stones in the best case scenario. So keep that in mind, that that is possible for you, but know that is not always going to happen. So daily missions, challenge events, login missions, login bonuses, daily missions, growth events, story events, and top grossing are also other ways of obtaining dragon stones that aren't necessarily you farming, but they are necessarily you just doing you know, stuff throughout the day playing the game. So that is something that you can potentially get as well. That is all I got for you in this video for farming stones. Let me know what methods that you guys are using from this video and all of that other fun stuff. If you did enjoy the guide and found it informative, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you are new so you don't miss out on any of my Dokkan content. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.